Hello, this is Jeff Hamrick at Rhodes College again, and I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about how you create a scatter plot for bivariate data in Fathom. So I've imported already a set of data from some ongoing research by Professor John Russ in the Department of Chemistry at Rhodes College. What we have here are data from roughly 360 different sampling sites in the Memphis area. Most of these sites are at elementary schools, and what we have recorded is the lead concentration at each sampling site and the iron concentration at each sampling site. And these are in, the units here are micrograms per gram. The name of this attribute name here is rather long, so it's causing this table to take up a large portion of the screen. So I'm just going to shrink these attributes both a bit now that I've explained what we're dealing with. I want you to notice though that the lead concentration data and the iron concentration data is essentially on a very different scale from one another. The iron concentration data is an order of magnitude different, several orders of magnitude in fact, than the lead concentration data. That fact will be important to us in a future screencast. Right now though, we just want to create a scatter plot of the bivariate data, and it's actually very easy in Fathom. I'm going to drag down a graph, and I'm going to drag, for example, the lead concentration data onto the x-axis. This is creating it defaults to just a dot plot of the lead concentration data. But if I go on ahead and drag the iron concentration data right here, it changes the plot over to a scatter plot. So we have on the x-axis the lead concentration in micrograms per grams and the iron concentration in micrograms per grams. Notice that Fathom has detected the difference in the order of magnitudes of these two attributes, and it's actually representing the y-axis in units of 1,000. So 25 right here corresponds to 25,000. And I hope you'll be convinced fairly quickly that while perhaps there's an association between lead concentration and iron concentration, really, these two sets of data don't seem to have much to do with one another. That is, as lead concentration increases, it does not necessarily seem to be the case that iron concentration will either increase or decrease. So I would sort of speculate, we'll talk about this more rigorously later in the semester, that these two sets of data are not correlated. Again, we'll talk about what we mean most clearly by that later on in the semester, but this is how you create a scatter plot in Fathom. Notice that it's one of the menu options right here in the upper right hand corner. There are two options for bivariate data, in fact.